Hello, this is Purge, bringing you guys another replay coaching. This one is going to be for a Witch Doctor support. MMR is about 2.3k. You calibrated 1.4, your peak was 2.7. You play EU, West, and East. So let's look at some starting things. Your item build looks pretty cool. I assume this is your courier as well. It is. Okay, so you bought courier. You got 2 sets of wards, you got a tango, 2 clarity as a smoke. Can you even afford all this? Holy crap. Yeah, I guess you can. I would maybe criticize no ironwood branches is maybe the one thing that I'm a little unsure about. You having a smoke is cool. I'm fine with that. I just hope you use it. If you don't use it, I think it's better to have ironwood branches. And technically these 2 things could have become more. Like if you wouldn't have had a fairy fire, which cost 75, that could have been 2 ironwood branches instead, which is 40 HP, which is more than what Fairy Fire heals. It also gives you 2 damage, and it gives you 2 agility and 2 int. So in a lot of ways, 2 Ironwood branches is better than a Fairy Fire. If you do need to eat, if you run out of tangos, you need to eat an Ironwood branch, and obviously, Ironwood branches would actually give you way more than a Fairy Fire. But you never know. If you use your smoke and your Fairy Fire well, then that's okay. You're clearly AFK in some way. Give your offlane a reward and get the other one placed down before the rune spawns. You're already 30 seconds in the game, you haven't placed an observer ward. You're clearly AFK or something, or like handling, you're like alt-tabbing or something, I'm not sure. I like that you got Maledict level 1 because it will definitely give you really good damage for Tide. In fact, I just expect him to die here, so that's really smart play. Nicely done there. It's perfectly done. He's definitely dead, unless he has a self. Yeah, alright, great job. That was great. But get your wards down. Observer wards at rune spots, at lane, for example. You could have put one top lane and put a bottom. So let's pause for a second and talk about what to do based on what you're playing against. And I'm doing this because, and I want to talk about this because I think it seems you know what to do for basic items, seems what you need to do, you know what you need to do for off lanes, you've bought the right items, but now you're late on them. So the heroes, if I'm looking at the enemy lineup, I would expect offlane Tide, I guess, and then mid Legion or something. In fact, it's actually Sky mid and a jungling Legion. So that means that they have weak amounts of supports in the safe lane. It's only a Lion and a Slark. So you can instantly realize that, hey, they have a jungling Legion commander. So one thing you could hypothetically do, especially with the Tide kill, is instantly buy boots and then go run into their jungle. Honestly, it's not a bad thing to do because then you're going to split experience of the Legion as he's jungling. You'd have boots of speed, you'd have tangos, you'd have clarities. You could actually just go buy boots right now, pop your smoke, run to the enemy jungle. You can either go this way and go in this way, or you can pop the smoke and run through this way and then find him in here and then just kind of mess with him, contest him. You're only level 1 with Maledict, obviously, but as he kills creeps, you'll hit level 2. So I don't think that'd be too dangerous. Plus you have a Fairy Fire, lots of tangos. I think you get away with this. So basically, Observer Wards are mostly used either to spot rotations to see exactly where your opponents are, stuff like that. And by grabbing your boots, you could swing through here, put the ward on the high ground while you're smoking, smoke through, put a ward, I don't know, over here. This way you could see if the Tide is jungling out, or put a lane ward here, put one up here, and then go to the jungle. I think this could work. I know Tide didn't have a Iron Talon, and you know that as well because you checked his items. So I think that would be, what I just described, I think would be by far the best thing you could do. But either way, get your wards down earlier. Definitely would help. So Tide does end up coming top again. You're starting a pull, which I think is fine. Not sure what Venge is doing. Again, you are still delayed for your wards. Your wards could be on the ground. So you could have seen the Tide getting here a little bit faster, which I think would have been good to do. I have no idea what Venge is doing. You're clearly AFKing sometimes. Recommend not doing that in the future. Okay, and now, I don't know. I guess the Venge is just waiting to connect the pull. Alright, you guys have actually 2 AFK supports this game. That's actually pretty funny. So, because Venge is standing here, not only can you not stack, you also can't connect your pull, which means your wave is pushing, which means now Tide is getting experience. This guy that you guys just wrecked at level 1, now he gets back to his lane, he instantly gets free levels. So in some ways, it's cool. Also, you could be looking at mid right now. You're not looking at mid. Like your Invoker just died, you don't know how much HP the mid has. Like what are you waiting for? Are you like waiting for your mid to get back to the haste rune or something? I don't understand what you're doing. I think you need to increase your speed for a scroll. See, now you're gonna, oh, now you really messed up. Because now this guy got the haste. You could have actually just killed this guy by yourself, by the way. I'm quite sure of this. I think your Fairy Fire is gonna become useful. Okay, so for some weird reason, that guy was a dumbass and he still died to you, but Get your wards down, bro. Alright, I'm going to be more frustrated with you than the average person that I'm coaching because you had such a good first 30 seconds. You did everything perfectly. You bought perfect items. You maledicted the Tidehunter, which is the best counter versus Cask. You killed him, but then you didn't transition it. It looked so good, but then you didn't transition it well. Get your wards down. Stop going AFK. Hopefully make sure Venge doesn't go AFK as much. And then one of you has to zone the Tide while one of you pulls, is what should happen. It shouldn't be Venge, obviously he AFK'd, but Venge shouldn't just stay there and mess up the pull, or not pull at all. He should go stand in the lane, hopefully with your Observer Ward, he'll see Tide approaching, and then he again keeps zoning him. So basically your whole play is don't let Tide know where you are. And if you accomplish this, what it does is it makes sure that Tide doesn't feel safe coming up to the creep wave aggressively, and you just keep pulling, and occasionally you'll back off with the Venge and you'll gank because Tide will eventually leave the lane or go to jungle. And now you're 3.5 minutes into the game and you're only barely almost level 3, which isn't really that effective. You also should have probably popped the smoke and then TP'd to the tier 2 in my opinion, because now you're going to get to the lane really late. If you're running from base, it's so delayed. And you could have done this faster if you didn't AFK all those times. Like, honestly, the actions that you've chosen to do have mostly been really good, but you're delaying things by so much, and you're also not giving yourself vision very much. You should also, oh, you're way too early for this. You shouldn't try to keep solo killing this guy. At some point, he's going to beat you. You should have waited for, oh, I would have stayed aggressive. Put a ward down, maybe? Okay, now you definitely have to back. You should have waited for the Invoker to TP in as you went in. So if you just would have waited 4 seconds there, 100% you kill the Skywrath Mage there. Because he could have either casted Cold Snap or Sunstrike with your stun, and you would have had a kill, 100%. So you played that really sloppy, and now you're just putting your wards down. Eat your tangos, use your clarity potions, get moving. Again, you're all time. Seriously, man, I don't know what you're doing during these pause periods. Maybe you have like a child or something, but this is aggravating. I could not imagine playing with you on my team for that reason alone. That would be very, very frustrating. These 2 wards are kind of cover a lot of the same stuff. If you're going to place this ward in this area, it should be on this cliff instead. The one next to where Tide is jungling, because now you don't even see where he is. You also just popped your Fairy Fire, absolutely not worth it. Guessing it was a misclick. And you got Arcane Boots now, which is fine, but let's utilize them. And remember what I said you should have done at the start? As soon as you got that kill, you could have roamed to the enemy jungle, zoned the Legion Commander. Well, he's almost level 6 now, and he's at basically an ideal early start. He doesn't even have overwhelming odds. He did get boots, so he wasn't super vulnerable to you, but I genuinely believe you could have been effective in that. Or what you could have done is mess with them a little bit, and then just set up a gank mid. Kind of similar to what you're doing right now. This is all good. You're getting things done. You're roaming. Your roaming's not bad. You're just a little bit inefficient with your time. Honestly, you're not a bad player. I think you could easily hit 3k. You just need to stop alt-tabbing every, like, 2 minutes. Whatever you're doing looks like you're not having trouble with that anymore. Also, if you're playing with an Invoker, you actually don't have to give him runes, because as long as he doesn't need to bottle them, it's not a big deal. Sometimes he'll need, like, regens and stuff like that. I do like that you ran back to the safe lane and instantly started pulling. That's great. Ooh, that was unfortunate. Yeah, I think you actually had to let that last hit not complete. You messed up completely here as well. As soon as the range creep leaves, the damage of your creep wave is different. So you messed that up. 3 melee creeps does like far less than a range does to neutrals, especially these guys, because I think they have like light armor or whatever. It's the one that does extra. So you got to look at your creep wave before you start the pull. You're not one of your biggest issues so far is that you're not moving your camera fast enough or enough at all. So I think what would be smart is actually if you go back. No, you can go back. You could. Damn, I wish I was live coaching this. You could go back to the large camp right now and still connect it easily. Easily. Did I mention easily? Because those 2 creeps do so little damage that you would have been able to do it in time. You also need to go over here, eat this tree, and then pull it. You're not going to be able to pull this effectively. Oh, you're stacking it. I guess that's okay because you have a Draw Ranger. I'm alright with that. I maybe would have preferred that you do a side pull, but I guess you guys are doing a push now, it looks like. You're TPing in the bot lane. Why are you TPing in the bot lane? What's the purpose of this? Why'd you do this? Because you guys want to set up a kill? Is this guy begging for help or something? I don't really see you guys killing a Slark very easily. I have no idea why you came down here. I think this is a mistake. I don't think this is effective. You either should have pushed with the Drow push, or what you could have just done is walk behind the tower. That way if Tide ends up being there, you can get behind him, land the first disable, and that should guarantee the Tide kill. You might have found Tide over there, but that's fine. He's just a Tide hunter. He doesn't have Ravage. He doesn't even have boots yet. You could have wrapped around and then taken the tower, and that would have given your team gold advantage. But you going bottom and not really having a good shot at killing these guys, especially because you're level 4. If you're 6, you could definitely kill line, and maybe that's the one here that you guys kill here, but you also could have waited till you had observer wards from the courier before you came down here. So at least with you TPing to the bot lane, you put a ward down in the meantime. But literally the problem with your gameplay, the whole game has been inefficiency. You know what to do, and the situations that you approach, you do them in almost completely the correct way, even in the trades on the Skyreth Mage. You should have grabbed the haste rune before he grabbed it, for example. You should have put your wards down earlier. You shouldn't have gone for the Skyreth until the Invoker showed up, but the other ganks were good. The other pressure was good. Your skill builds are correct. Your item builds are great, but you're not being efficient. You just need to up your efficiency by like 3 times, and you're going to do all of these amazing things that you've done so far, and do like 50% more of them in the 7 minutes that you've had, and you'd be like level 5 already, 5.5. You would have had wards down the whole game. You would have ganked earlier for the Invoker. You would have given him more space, because you would have killed the Skyreth a lot easier. Like, all of these things really add up. Alright, so this should be your kill then, is the... Well, alright, I think you messed up. As soon as you went for the Slark, you made a mistake. Unless he doesn't have his ulti. I feel like the... First of all, you should have gone with him there. Let's re-look at how you did this. Line is definitely the guy you go on. Okay, you maledicted. See, the problem keeps happening to you in that people get out of your camera and you give up on them, I feel like. You're right-clicking this guy, which is good. Your attack moving mostly. Yep, your attack moving fine. Getting him low, pops his ultimate. Is that a big surprise? It really shouldn't be. Check his level. He's level 6. He's going to use his ultimate. That means the easy person to kill is always going to be line, especially because you used Maledict on him. Yeah, you almost killed this guy, and if you would have Maledicted him instead, you might have killed him. In fact, you probably would have killed him, especially if he doesn't pop his ulti. Like, he doesn't even have boots, but I didn't know that because you didn't click on him, to my knowledge. Let me watch your player perspective again. So there's these guys down here. Okay, you actually did click on him. He doesn't have boots. Going on the lion. You Maledict. You almost got 2. A little unfortunate. I don't personally think that... Why did this guy even time-lapse? I actually have no idea. He was at like half HP. He wasn't even close to needing to time-lapse just yet. I mean, he full healed out of it, but... If he just would have stayed and right-clicked, like, without time-lapsing, if he just would have committed and right-clicked the line would have died, and you might have been able to get the Slark as well. So, I mean, that guy messed up by all means. He played that badly, but I think you should have committed harder to the line. You definitely could have. Just aim for that line, kill him easy. You should have gotten a kill there, and you should have hit level 5, and now you're not where you should be. And you should also have a ward in the side jungle for these rotations that are going to happen. Eventually, someone on the enemy team will show up when you do aggressive dual lane stuff. Alright, cask usage there was good. If I were you, I would 100% buy a Windlace this game and a Magic Wand. I think you need Windlace because you need to stay away out of melee range from a lot of their heroes, who are very dangerous. Weaver got blown up, silenced by... Yeah, you guys shouldn't be fighting this anymore. You have a dead hero. Your positioning is really weak right now. You're also not looking at the fight. You have no idea what's going on because the shop's in the way. And just now, you finally see. I would say efficiency and now your vision. You're just constantly not looking at the right place with your vision. If you're level 6 right here, due to your early kill, just drop your ward and you'd kill somebody right now. It would have been perfect positioning. But you just didn't have it. Okay, he still died, which is good. Now you need to run. Because this fight's over. Again, right here you'd have level 6. You could hide here for 4 seconds, get your coconut again, and then just cast your ultimate and kill somebody. But again, you're under-leveled because you've been inefficient. So the first thing that you really need to do, go to your options and increase your scroll speed. You have to do this. I see that you're using camera grip to move your camera. That's great. You might be using it another way as well. I'm not sure. But up your camera speed. You really need to up your camera speed, or you need to move your mouse more when you do your camera grip because you're barely adjusting your camera and it's limiting how much information you have about fights. And you're trying to do things like shopping while fighting, which is fine. But get hotkeys for all of that. I don't know if you have them or not, but if you're 6 right here, that guy's dead. Like, he's still gonna die, but you died too. You died too because you were inefficient there. 100% because you were inefficient, and because you didn't buy items. You've been sitting on 700 gold for like 4 or 5 minutes, still haven't bought anything. You could have had a wand there. You could have had an urn, which would have given you an extra 120 HP. Like, all of those things would have absolutely changed the outcome of this game, because you just gave a killing spree to a Legion commander who just got a double kill. Like, that guy just got way more gold because of you dying there. You actually lost gold. The Legion ended up getting 442 despite dying. And the only person that got benefit was actually Avenged. That was a bad fight for you guys. And it's all because you didn't spend your gold, because you were underleveled. Like, you are on the verge of being honestly, you're on the verge of being a very good player, in my opinion. You're very close, but your limitations are not moving your camera enough, not gathering enough information, and definitely not being efficient enough in your early game. Just be more confident with your movements, and even if it ends up being the wrong thing, at least you've learned from it. I'm going to exclude all of that AFK shenanigans stuff that you did early game, but absolutely need to work on this stuff. Looks like you're getting a Glimmer first. You bought Smoke, you're going to buy Glimmer. You bought the EXP Tome, which is cool because you hit 6 now. And you should have bought it anyways. I think that's completely fine, especially because Venge is already 6. But you should have been 6 easily without this. You're 3, 1, and 3. Those are amazing KDAs for support. You're playing really well numerically, but you're not being efficient enough to get the levels to back you up. And now you're forced to go back to getting an Experience Tome to catch up, which is not a good thing. Okay, that was good. Okay, I don't know why he didn't just Dark Pact. He literally could have just pressed Dark Pact and not died there. I also don't know why he doesn't own Boots of Speed, but he doesn't. So that's that. You need to buy Magic Wand, a Clarity Potion. Did you buy this? I don't know if you bought this, but you really don't need it. You've got Arcane Boots. If you had this, I would even consider selling it, honestly. It's just not needed. You're missing HP, eat a Tango. Your Venge should absolutely not do that. That was stupid. Now, you're probably dead here no matter what, based on your positioning issue. Oh, wow, they got a double kill out of that. That was all on Venge, basically, for running across the creep wave. That's really not safe. He should have probably wave attacked into the trees to see if their opponents were there. Your opponents. See if they were there. Although, on your side, what you also could have done is, as you approach that lane, and you were over here in the side jungle, let's go back like 40 seconds. You killed this guy. You know what you do? You right-click these creeps together, and then you instantly walk down here behind their tower, and you put a ward down. Walk down here, put an observer ward right here, because you're about to dive the tower. Then you have a better chance of seeing if there's people there before you approach. So let's see. Oh, hey! 1, 2, ward. Boom, Legion's here, you see that. Maybe even catch Skywrath Mage if you go fast enough. Why doesn't this guy have his ultimate? What a dumbass. Ward down. You know there's heroes there. Venge isn't going to do as many stupid things because you actually place the observer ward that you purchased, which is probably why Venge is running over here. He wants to ward this. But this is not the way you run to do it. You go over here, you stand here, you put the ward down, and then you swing back around and go to approach. You don't want them to know that you have vision. And they're clearly going to see that Venge is placing a ward here. And instead, their Blink Dagger, which you didn't pressure, by the way, is now going to lead to you dying. Partially because your ally's mistake, but also because you didn't put the ward down. You didn't put the ward down, Venge felt the need to go place it. You guys lose 2 heroes for nothing. Huge, huge, huge loss. What do you get? It's a very confusing item build from Slark here, but it's almost working. God, this is bad. Max Pounce, and you max Echoes, and you get Echo Saber first. Ugh. Ugh. That's gross. So, with all of this cool stuff that you did early, and all of the pulling, except for that one pull that sucked, and all of the ganking and all the mid pressure, you still have the exact. You just don't have any advantage. You're not creating an advantage for your team. And at some point, don't max out Maledict as well. I think 2 early points is fine. If you want to go 1-0-2 because you really want to be able to burst down solo heroes, totally cool. But in my opinion, maxing it before Cask I think is a mistake. Maybe not this game because they don't have that many creeps or whatever, but you could have a heal level that heals 16 HP per second in 5 seconds. That's going to be 32 times 2.5, which is 64. It's about 80 HP. So in about 5 seconds, you can heal somebody for 80 HP, which is huge. Plus, you have Arcane Boots. You have all this mana and nothing to use it on. Like, to be honest, if you're going to go this skill build, you built the wrong boot. You don't need Arcane Boots for this build, in my opinion. You really don't. It's overly expensive, actually. It gives you way more mana than you need. Yes, you can cast more casks, and you can use Maledict more often, but these are only 120 mana cost spells, and the cooldown is 20 seconds each. So even if you cast both of these, that's 240 plus your ultimate. That's about 440. Yes, you would be low on mana at that point. If your arcanes didn't exist, your mana would be here total, and then that combo would be here. But you can make up for that in other ways. You can get a magic wand. You can carry a clarity potion. You can purchase infused raindrop for the early game. You can have an urn to give you passive mana regen. Like, heroes like Witch Doctor, in my opinion, are very similar to like Disruptor. You don't need that much mana. Yes, you can buy Arcane Boots so that you can Voodoo Restorate more, but that's like a shitty way to heal people anyways. You know what's a really good way to heal people? You buy an Urn of Shadows That way when somebody takes a lot of damage, you don't have to sit there for like 30 seconds healing them with Voodoo Restoration and having it cost you like 300 mana. Instead, you can just use one Urn charge to heal them for 400 HP. That's why Urn is such a good item on Witch Doctor, because it allows you to not have to spend all of your mana healing with Voodoo. That's why I like getting Urn on a lot of heal heroes, because then I don't have to necessarily use my skills, which aren't as efficient as a free 400 HP heal out of combat. And then if you want to use it offensively, you can. It does 150 pure damage. You could cast Urn, throw stun, and then Maledict somebody. And if you do that, the Urn applies to Maledict and gives you even more Maledict damage. Like, all of these things are really easy to integrate to your build, but your build is just simply not efficient. And the support items you're buying them, but you're not using them. So the other thing you really need to work on is using your support items. If you're going to buy these things, put them down. I have the same problem sometimes. I'll buy a shitload of wards, and then I'll get distracted by something else, and I'll never get my wards down. Right now, you only have one shit ward in the safe lane. But if you had that ward down here, you probably wouldn't have lost 2 heroes. You possibly would have won a fight with a Wave of Terror swap, kill one guy, and then it's just like Legion, or it's just Skywrath afterwards. And then you win the fight easily. But instead, you guys lose 2. Eventually, your Drow Ranger gets chased down as well, because he's bad. He dies, and now the whole game changes. You could have won that fight with 2 kills, taken a tier 1 tower, and then rotated to mid, taken the tier 1, and then gone back, get wards up in this area, take Roche, game ends, basically. Game's over. But you guys already lost that because you took a bad fight, you didn't have your wards down, your build hasn't kept you alive. The first time, especially the one where you died to Legion, if you would have had an Urn of Shadows there and a wand, you wouldn't have died. You have all this net worth. Look at how much money you have. You have 3,000 net worth, and what do your items do right now? They don't do shit. All they do is allow you to place wards, smoke, and have sustain. But sustain doesn't keep you alive in fights unless you're doing fight after fight, or you're able to disengage from a fight, re-engage into a fight. All of your items do nothing. Just give you and your allies mana. Who even needs mana on your team? Weaver kind of needs mana, but he's got a magic wand and good items, so he's pretty much set. Venge needs mana because she doesn't have arcanes, which is fine. Does Invoker need mana? He's probably not going to be in fights. Does Drow need mana? Not really. Honestly, not a good arcane game. You could have bought Treads here, and it would have been so much better. You could even have bought Phase, it would have been better. Tranquils would have been really good this game, based on how much carries there are. Legion Commander and Slark both do Legion more than Slark, obviously, but good amount of physical damage. Tide as well. Anchor Smash does physical. If you just buy Tranquil Boots and you go this build instead, I would be so much happier. If you just had Tranquil's Wand, same cost basically. Tranquil components are, I believe, 525. Oh, it's okay. It costs 500. So you could have bought Tranquil Boots, upgrade. You would have been 85 movement speed before you right click or get right clicked. That's a 40 movement speed advantage, by the way. 30 movement speed advantage. You could have bought a Windlace on top of that. So you could have been 50 movement speed faster than you are right now. 45 movement speed faster than you are right now for almost the same cost, and you could add a magic stick on top of that. Or you could have bought Tranquil Boots with a magic wand and then had an extra 80 HP plus the ability to heal, plus the ability to get mana from this, which offsets some of your arcane problems. Like, honestly, I would say a really good early game Witch Doctor build, if you're never going to get Voodoo, get Tranquil Boots, get a magic wand, get an Urn, and get a Windlace. And then you have the ability to easily heal with Urn and Tranquils. You're really fast because of Windlace and Tranquils, so you can constantly move around the map, making shit happen. And you're also survivable because you have 2 armor, you have 3 armor, and you have a wand, and you have more HP. Instead of this build that you have right now, 3,000 net worth, that actually doesn't increase your survivability at all. Like, you gotta change your build, or you gotta change your skill build slightly. Get at least 1 Voodoo, and then I don't really care. Then you'd have like 2, 1, 3, and then you'd max out Cask afterwards, and I'd be like, all right, cool, it's working. That's what he wants. Also, maxing Cask is really important for the fact that the cooldown goes down. Actually, it's a 4-second reduction with 2 skill points. That's pretty massive. I don't know what your sentries are for here. Okay, that's okay. Now you're definitely gonna get dueled. Okay, he did have blink there. If you didn't misclick, you wouldn't have died. But now things are basically getting out of hand because of how those laning stage mistakes went. I would also have considered buying back here. It's almost worth it. Oh, Avenge actually does have swap. This actually should be really easy. And if I was Venge, I would actually use my camera to look down and swap the next guy. But he stopped paying attention. Yeah, but you just keep dying, man. At minimum, buy your cloak and sell your tango. Like, your tango is not going to keep you survivable. Sell it. Just sell the damn thing. Maybe you're keeping it because you're like, I want regen. But you did so many good laning things that most players just don't even touch. But now you're making huge item mistakes. I would just actually... that works, I guess. No deny? Okay, good. Okay, you're gonna die for this, but that's actually worth it. I don't care what items you have. That kill was absolutely worth it for you. Oh, you got denied! Holy shit. Sick job, dude. Nice job getting denied. Alright, you've now got 1300 HP. Okay, you finally bought an item, which is good. That was scary looking. He'll be fine. Okay, I wouldn't have done that. That was dangerous. So you got your Shadow Amulet now. You really need to get a wand, man, honestly. Like, this is the problem with Witch Doctor. He's got huge offensive potential. He has some defensive potential. But once enemies get on top of Witch Doctor and they start doing damage to him, he's super weak. Terrible armor. He's got pretty bad strength gain. 1.8 is relatively low. But you can buy a lot of items that keep you survival. And they don't cost a lot of money. And that's what's cool about them. You can buy Tranquils easily. You can buy the pieces slowly. You can get a magic wand. And then eventually, if you just don't die a few times early game, which you wouldn't have if you had these items and played relatively well, if you had the wand to earn at the start of the game because you were so far ahead, then all of a sudden, every time they want to kill you, they have to do an extra 200 damage. That's 200 damage to you. That's massive. That would make you a 1000 HP hero right at the start of the game with the first wand to earn, or the Tranquil's wand, or whatever you want to buy. Completely different game. Movement speed is maybe worse this game due to the Legion Commander because he can just blink dual you. So maybe just raw HP is arguably better than a movement speed build like Tranquil Windlace. But those are the kinds of things that you can figure out just by playing enough games. Like, oh, did this fast earn build really help me that much? And in most cases, it probably won't. What's the purpose of the sentry here? I don't know. So now the game has gone completely out of hand. Your early game was solid and far above your MMR, but I think this is like, honestly, this is one of the very rare times that it's actually worth looking at somebody's like 8 to 20 minute mark, because it seems that you have no idea what to do in the 8 to 20 minute mark. That's where you're having tons of issues. So let's try to cover that for now. Again, your laning stuff was very close. Just try to take the improvements that I talked about, and then we can better get to this place where you are right now with less than 2 deaths, for sure. You could have had at least 2 preventable deaths, and likely more kills and assists. So now what you're doing is probably hiding for Shadow Amulet. What's the point of this? Are you waiting for a wraparound on your mid hero? I'm not really sure. And again, if you had maxed out Paralyzing Cask, that's going to do way more in a team fight where the enemy heroes are grouped than an extra skill point to Maledict does. Like, look at the scaling. It only goes up for like 8% burst. The damage over time slightly goes up by 5. It's not a big increase. Maxing Maledict first is a big mistake, because now you can't heal your allies, you can't heal yourself if they need it. Your cask is limited. You're basically a solo killing machine right now, but even then you're not solo killing very well because your map movement isn't good. So I would definitely say that your build was almost good, but it's not. Your item build is way off. Now you're going to go for a Glimmer Cape, which is a good build to have on Witch Doctor. It'll keep you alive to various heroes. You can use it on people that get silenced by Skywrath. It's a great build actually this game. Downsides are that you will get ravaged through even if you use it, and Lion will still be able to stun the ground and hit you. So arguably for a offensive item, it's weak, but even still that's okay because Witch Doctor should be going for defensive items for his allies. These are those that was one of your wards that you've had for 6 minutes, by the way. That was the ward, one of the wards that you could have placed behind the tier 1 tower, I'm quite sure. So this whole time you haven't placed wards. So what should you be doing now? All of your allies are dead. Putting a ward down is nice. A lane ward over here is arguably better than a cliff ward, or if you could sneak in here and put a ward here, that would be arguably better. You should pretty much spend your time over in the enemy jungle. I don't know if you watched Blitz's video about it, but what you guys should be doing is Weaver and you and maybe like Venge should hang out down here, maybe with Drow as well. Farm these camps, wait till somebody comes down here to farm, and then you just blow them up and kill them. That's the goal. And that allows you to get kills, and when those kills happen, you can pressure the tower or maybe force a team fight there. And then Invoker can, okay, he didn't go BOTs, but Invoker can add a Sunstrike to that, for example. Or what you can do is, oh, they're pushing top lane, well, just go set up for that. Go sneak all the way up to the top lane, sit behind the trees up here, get there ahead of time, and then when he comes forward, you can throw a stun. You can pop out, throw a stun Tidehunter, and then you can guarantee a team fight. Instead, what you're doing is forcing everybody to do these like really slow, bad chase things that aren't super effective here. You can easily kill the Skywrath Mage, though. That was a really well-timed Ravage, actually. I think the Venge messed up here. He didn't need to be there. Oh, and in the meantime, you got killed. Because what were you doing instead? Farming! This is when you put the ward down, you go mid. You're right-clicking mid a little bit. And I think you probably could have expected that. Excuse me. Right there. On the map, on the map. You're a little bit late. With that said, though, he is ahead of you. And in some ways, you can't always predict that. But if you have a windlace and a little bit better reaction time, you don't die there. If you just don't farm mid, then you're also better there. If you had maxed out Paralyzing Cask, you can... let's also talk about your positioning, where you hit those creeps from. And let's also talk about your camera positioning. Alright, so see where you're hitting these creeps from? First of all, this is, I believe... Your attack range is about there. I think you're a little close. And also, look at your angles between how close you are to their side of the map and where's your safety zone. Your safety zone is right here, where your allies TP. And your attack range is like this. Instead of standing here, you could be standing here. And then when you do that, you're farther away from him blinking. Because we can make a little triangle. You'd be like this. So this little distance here is all it would is the distance that you would have extra. So you would have more fractions of a second until the Legion could blink on you. But really the primary problem of you standing here is that you're close to a lane where there's still a tower. And that's the dangerous thing, because that changes when somebody's going to be able to react to you. So let's see if he did react to you. I think he started TPing a little bit earlier. He did. He didn't know you were going to be here, so this is slightly unlucky that you were here. In fact, I would say it's really unlucky that you were here. Let's see. But he is respawning. You can look at that and say, hey, Legion Commander just spawned, so he's going to go somewhere, right? Well, he can't go to the tier 1 tower top. That's all dead. He could walk to the jungle and start farming. But he's not going to go bottom because Slark's already here farming, so that doesn't make sense. So basically the only places that Legion is going to be on this whole map is either walking to the top lane, or walking to the jungle, or TPing mid. And because you just happen to be here, you now become the easiest kill I've ever seen. And you didn't react in time, so you easily get killed. Partially because of your positioning, but mostly because of your late reaction speed and not paying attention to the map or to the timers at the top. So you end up dying. You're not in the team fight with your team because you probably didn't know what to do at the time. The reality is, go get your wards down. Don't worry about your farm when you have wards in your inventory. If it's a safe time to do it, in that case, you easily could have put it down in time. Easily could have put the ward down. You could pop to smoke, for example. Wait to grab one other hero, pop a smoke, run across the map, go put a ward down aggressively. There's already one here, but maybe you can put one here, or up here, or down here, or over here, or ward somewhere near Roche, for example. Or maybe just be somewhere aggressive. By standing here, you had nothing to do except for farm creeps, and it's a negative view. Like, farming creeps is not really a way to get ahead. There are small time increments during a game where you will want to farm creeps as a support, but when you're in a mid game like this, by far the best way to impact the game is to either save one of your allies from dying, or to set up a gank on an enemy hero while farming. So like I said about that, go sit in the jungle over here with Weaver. Weaver can slap creeps, you can sit behind him, you can cask the neutrals, you can use your Voodoo Restoration that you should have, or would have if you're playing better and more leveled. You could use Voodoo Restoration to keep them a little healed up as you guys just stand here right-clicking creeps. That's all good. By the way, another reason Treads might have been good. You have a Draw Ranger, so attack speed is really good to have. Arcane's was absolutely a waste this game. You would have had HP and attack speed. Would have been a really good game for that, actually. Sit in the jungle down here, you farm creeps, and eventually what happens... Oh, I have to scroll because replays are a little bugged. Sit over here, farm creeps, farm creeps. Oh, Slark is here. Okay, well then you guys sit here and you wait, and you wait. And you wait until Slark gets into a position where you can easily jump out of the trees and kill him. So right now what you would do, and this would be hard with just Weaver, if it was Draw it would be a lot easier, or if you had another stun like Venge, it'd be a lot easier. But, oh god, now I have to go. Oh wait, I can do this. Yes, teleport. Throw your stun, drop the Maledict, put the ulti down or something like that. And then maybe like Weaver tries to like stay ahead of where the Slark is going to be and you kill him or something. But instead you went to farm creeps in the mid lane, and farming creeps in the mid lane isn't going to do anything for you. Because all you're going to do is get a couple creeps, and instead you could get creeps here while making sure that your opponents never farm these two camps. And then if you do succeed in killing Slark down here, for the rest of the game, every single one of these bastards is going to be scared to pass this part when they're far away from their tower. They're going to be terrified to go past this line. They won't feel comfortable farming these two camps, that's for sure. If you pop out here and kill them, they say, okay, this is a danger zone. They will maybe feel comfortable farming this, and then you're going to fight a ward battle around this because they're going to try to guarantee that they have vision in this area because they're getting ganked. And then all of a sudden, they don't have 2 of their camps, maybe 3 of their camps controlled in their own jungle. And then where do they go? It's like the same thing with what I said about Legion. Where does he go when he respawns? He doesn't have anywhere. He could go mid, he can farm one of these 2 camps, and that's it. Or he can go somewhere and set up a kill. And players at your level aren't going to understand this very well. So if you figure this out, and you start positioning your hero around those kinds of things that you want to do on the map, which is suffocating people, You'll change the whole game. Because killing this dumbass who built Echo Saber first is going to completely change everything. And he got 1 point in Dark Pact. This guy's a terrible build. And this guy won this game, I think. He won. I think. I can't remember from the scoreboard. Let's check. They freaking won this game. This guy with this build won this game. Can you believe that? I think you can because you lived it. But all it takes is a little bit of smart farming position. Either the Weaver or the Drow needs to farm in this area with 2 allies, like 2 supports, while Invoker pushes in mid lane, and maybe once in a while somebody gets sent top to defend the top lane from getting pushed in. But if you keep wards around their towers, basically, and Invoker pushes in the tier 1 tower, then all of a sudden their whole game gets harder. You have huge gold advantage from having towers, but you guys haven't ever really had that because you lost your early fights. And it all came down to that Observer Ward that you could have put behind the tier 1 tower that led to 2 or 3 of you guys dying and let them have some advantage. And now it opens up the map a little bit for Legion Commander to get free kills. If he just didn't get repeated kills on you, for example, he would never come into this game in a strong way. As long as both you and the Venge had enough HP and good enough position that you're always standing sort of near each other. Because if that's the case and you have reasonable items, they never get to feast on you. And that's by far one of the most important things when you're playing a hero like Witch Doctor or any support really that's easy to kill. You have to play well enough in the early game while being efficient, while creating space for your team, that you finally get those items that are going to make you essentially invulnerable. And that's why you're building towards them. You understand this concept. But you didn't do the early game well enough to get you to the mid game where you have HP with a Glimmer Cape with a Force Staff. Because once you get a Glimmer Cape and a Force Staff and you yourself have like Tread's Wand, all of a sudden you're running around at level 10, 16 minutes into the game with a Force Staff and a Magic Wand and maybe a Glimmer Cape if you're doing really well, which you were doing them well this game. And then if this guy wants to duel you and he only has 10 damage, he's just not going to kill you. It's that simple. Or maybe you could go Arcanes in a mech, for example, and then you have armor and all of these other cool things. That honestly could have been a possibility because nobody on your team is going to build a mech. It's that or Glimmer, really. Glimmer because of Sky ulti, but this guy didn't play his hero right anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. But you know, all you had to do is get to this period where you don't feed kills to heroes like Slark and Legion Commander, and you didn't play the early game safe enough to do so, and you kept placing sentries in weird places. I think it's because you're expecting a Shadow Blade from somebody, but you should be able to check up on the Slark and be like, this guy's actually stupid, and he has an Echo Saber. It's wrong build. I don't know how he's 3k MMR, or 2.3? Yeah, you're 2.3-ish. So you're like close to getting there. You understand the principles, I think. You're using your skills well, but you're not blending it together and you're not reacting correctly. And now in this part of the game, you're not positioning your hero in the right place. And you're not doing the right things. Like this is the part of the game where you start asking your allies, hey guys, let's do smokes. Like, oh, can we group here as 3 smoke, go to the enemy jungle and kill somebody? And instead what you guys are doing is you're reacting now to the enemy push, which allows them to push the lanes out. And now if you look at where the map is, all of this area behind where I'm drawing, basically the river, pretty much their whole side, half of the map. They get their half of the map, you get your half of the map. But the reality is that you have towers down, which means you should be able to at least control these 2 camps, which should limit them to at least this part of the map, which is 2 less camps. So if you guys farm at full efficiency and aggressively, you will get more resources than them, and it'll give you more opportunities to take a fight. So I have no idea why you did this. This is really greedy, man. Like, actually so greedy. To approach with a Shadow Amulet and then stop moving. Like, what the hell? Why? And now you're out of HP because you don't have Tranquils and you don't have Urn and you don't have like a million things. You're also, I want to see your camera movements here. Look how much you're moving your camera. It's like so little. You're barely catching people at the extent of your vision. And if you actually just had a little bit in terms of HP or HP regen, you could have been back in this fight and actually taken a real fight. But you were just never ready. I would have, that's kind of dangerous. Yeah, I think you made the right choice. Actually, you could have done it with Shadow Amulet. I would have thrown Cask. I think you could have Maledicted and then ulti while and then Shadow Amulet yourself. You would have been invis. And they wouldn't have necessarily known exactly where you're standing to. But yeah, you're encountering all these problems. You have no way to heal. As soon as you take 500 damage, you're actually just low until the fight ends. I think you're just trying to cheese them now. You want to like place a ward or put your ward down and get a kill. I would have actually gone on the sky right there, maybe. So yeah, you're just not getting anything done. And again, same thing. You have 300 HP right now. That's so dangerous. You could almost just get ravaged right now and die. And you're still playing dangerous, or playing safe, because you know you have 300 HP, and you're not looking at who TP's in. You're not looking at anything really. This is by far your biggest failing, is your vision. You're completely gimping yourself. There's a hero right here, and I know that. And my allies are chasing him. You can see that. But you're not even looking to see how low they are. Look at this. And just now you realize what's going on. You could have put your death ward down and done like 2 seconds damage. You could have done any damage to that Legion at all. Oh, he blinked forward actually. But you could have done, if that guy blinked away and just went home, he gets out. But instead he blinked aggressively because he's bad. Like, minimum you need Tranquil Boots with a wand. Or you need an urn with your arcane boots, but you should always have wand. And don't buy smokes if you're not going to use it. If you're not going to use the smokes, buy them and keep them in your stash, and put something else there. That could be like a dust. It could be a wand. Could be an urn, like I said. It could be a million other early game items. You smoked here, but they clearly had a sentry. It's definitely time to have sentries, by the way, because at some point Slark will buy a Shadow Blade, as you can see. I like your positioning here because you're worried about invis heroes, but you absolutely need sentries, which eventually you do buy, including the tome. You're still not full HP from that one time mid that you lost HP. You can't do this. It's such a waste. Are they actually just roshing right now? My god, they're gonna probably get it. Wow, they actually just smoked like 4 heroes in. That's pretty insane. That's actually so insane they got away with this. It's actually taking so long. Alright, you see this guy. Do you guys realize? At least you got a kill out of it, I guess. If you would have bugged this way, that would have been pretty funny. So it looks like they're going to get that. But what have you guys done in the meantime? Nothing. Let's go all the way back. Let's see exactly what you've done in the last 3 minutes or something. Okay. Standing here to maybe help with your allies. By the way, if you had 1 point in Voodoo Restoration, you could have been full HP, by the way. You've got Arcane Boots again. You're not really using your mana. Ugh. So, you just smoke, you realize that they can see you, so you're running. You run over here, you put an Observer Ward down. That was like 30 seconds ago. We'll say 20, 30. Buying items. Okay. 20, 30. Since then, all you do is place a ward, and you're sitting behind people in case the fight starts. That's cool and all. 20, 30, put a sentry down to block the camp. Okay. So it's been like 2 minutes, and all you've done is place 1 sentry, 1 obs, and then buy your items and fly them out to you. That's it. Very, very inefficient. Extremely inefficient. You do have a sentry now, but again, you used it to block, which is a bit of a mistake. Oh! He almost messed up so bad. Okay, at least that guy died before you die. But again, you just died there, not only because you don't have very much HP, but because you are still missing HP from when you first lost it 6 minutes ago. The way that your HP has gone up has literally just been this 1.2 per second. It's been 200 seconds since you lost your HP, and that is the only reason that your HP is higher. If you just turned on your Voodoo Restoration, you would have been full HP eons ago. And then when Slark initiates on you here, you don't just instantly die. Boom, boom, done. Boom, boom, pounce. You would have bought at least 1 more second until you died. It would have taken his Dark Pact to kill you. But because you haven't bought any items that increase your survivability, and you're always low on HP, you are just creating opportunities where your opponents can kill you. And that is how you lose the game as supports. That's how you give gold to your opponents. You let the carries, however bad they are and however stupid their item builds are, to kill you. And it is all because your HP wasn't full, and none of your items and none of your net worth, all 3,600 of it, by the way, it hasn't increased by much at all in the last 10 minutes. That's not okay. You gotta increase your farm rate, you gotta win your team fights, you gotta put pressure on the map, all that good stuff. Because your farm rate is low, because your HP is low, because your HP wasn't high enough, Slark kills you here. He gets the easiest, like, 340 gold that he's ever gotten in his whole life, and then they probably just win a fight because of this. You get nothing out of your skills. None of your skills did anything this game, actually. And now everybody just dies, because you don't have enough disable anymore. You'll kill Tide and stuff, but that could have been far less people dying. And yeah, they had an Aegis and stuff, but it could have worked. And all you really needed was a little more HP. I'm not sure what you buy at this point, honestly. I think you need sentries, but now things are out of control. Like that, this is the problem with playing against invis heroes for a lot of players, is they don't know how to deal with them. And the easiest way is to be aggressive in your play and not defensive. And that's because if you play aggressive, for example, look at the map. Let's say you guys decided to be aggressive, and let's say it's like, I don't know, 8 minutes earlier, but the Slark got a really fast Shadow Blade. If you guys group up as like 4 heroes or 5 heroes and you're pushing a tier 2 tower, there's only one place that Slark can be that's dangerous. You look at the range of the vision. It's like here. You put a sentry like right here, and it protects the swing behind and him walking up in the lane. And by doing this and having all of your resources essentially be right here in the lane, then Slark can't kill you guys. If you're passively farming though, and you have one hero bot lane, and Slark could go invis and kill there. And if you have one hero mid, and Slark could go there and kill you. And you have one hero top, Slark could go there and kill you. And you have one person jungling. That's like 8 sentries that you need to cover all this. Or you'd have to put a sentry up on a cliff to watch him like go through this way Shadow Bladed, or go through this way Shadow Bladed. Instead, if you just like group up and be proactive and take control of the map while placing aggressive sentries, well, not aggressive sentries, but defensive aggressive sentries as you're taking objectives, you basically need one sentry for every tower that you're taking. One here, kill the tower, push up, put another one here, take this tower. You're covered. Sometimes you want 2. You want one here, and then you might want one here to catch like a bigger swing around. Or maybe you want an observer ward behind with a sentry behind. That way you can see if he comes from behind. But you only need like one sentry for this. And now you just have this huge range of areas that you have to protect from. You have to deal with Slark ganking you. You have to deal with Legion Commander ganking you. You have to deal with like a million different heroes killing you because you didn't have the items and you've died 6 times. If you just didn't die 6 times, these guys would have 6 less kills. They'd all have less net worth by far, by a huge amount actually. They wouldn't have had the net worth to win their next fight. This Shadow Blade would have been delayed by 4 minutes or so just because he wouldn't have gotten as many kills on you. He wouldn't have had as much gold. He just would have been delayed. And then that saves you money on sentries and everything. And it's all because of, it's all a cascading effect. If your first 10 minutes was perfect and you had elements of that, but then you slopped on a lot of other things and you're inefficient. If your first 10 minutes was perfect, you wouldn't have even gotten to this point. And you might have eventually because you still bought no HP items in the whole game. But seriously, man, playing support is all about staying alive and min-maxing you not dying as little as possible while getting the things you need, which are mana regen, so that you can constantly use your abilities, which is more utility items, either a wand to stay alive, to have mana to get a kill, to have an urn to heal back up after a push, or to use it offensively to get a kill, to buy a fast glimmer cape before this guy even has Shadow Blade. That way, if he even tries to kill you, you glimmer right away and you get out. If Legion blinks on you early game or mid game at the 16-minute mark like he was, you press glimmer before he gets to duel you, and then he just blinks in aggressively, you wait 1 second, and then you cast combo him and he dies. Like, it's all about your timings. Like, supports are not carries, but in a way, their acceleration is no different. It's all about your item timings, getting them at the right time, and then transitioning that into a position where you just stomp your game. And you weren't able to do that, and that is why this game is going to go sour. Because they have 3 heroes that are fairly good at solo killing people, and your team wasn't very organized, and they weren't in good spots, and mostly you were inefficient, and now you're feeding kills. So you could have just stomped this game as Witch Doctor, and Witch Doctor is one of the best heroes in the whole game to raise MMR, but you have to play it well, and you have to not die, and you have to know how to gank. You've already got the gank part, but you have to do your item transitions, your efficiency early game, and look a little bit on the map and say, hey, they have a jungling Legion, maybe I can go pressure him. Or maybe you just stay in your lane and you keep pulling and you keep killing Tide if he keeps coming back. But at some point, go mess with the Legion probably to try to reduce his ability to gain gold and transition into this point where he's actually effective. That's all I have to say. Hope you learned a lot. Thanks for signing up. I appreciate it. Don't worry about the extra time. I don't know if this went over 30 minutes or not, but it might have. But let me know if you have any questions. I think that's all. Have a good day. Bye.